has been compromised. Task will begin activating the... Oh, shit.
Today's the day, October the 13th, Friday the 13th. I promised you a banger, didn't I? Today is the day we rank every iconic killer in horror. Let's get into it. Welcome back, I'm Sippin Ice, and we got a total of 32 iconic killers from all throughout the horror genre. Be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe to stay up to date on all things horror, baby. And that's right, I said we. Today, I'm joined with my good bud TackMack, a fellow YouTuber deep in the horror scene, and you know what? I think it's best to let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm TackMack. I thank Sippin Ice for inviting me on here today. I'm very happy to be here. As he said, I do very similar content to him, so if you like this video, definitely check the link in the description down below, which will take you to my channel where you can see more things horror. Also, something quickly, we do have an upcoming collaboration live stream later this month, so once again, if you want to stay up to date with when that's exactly going to happen, definitely check out my channel for updates. Thank you.
All right, with all the fancy formalities out of the way, let's dive on into our first killer. All right, so first up, TackMack, we got Alien from the Alien franchise. I mean, I think it's gonna be an easy one. What you think, dog?
Yeah, definitely up there.
Yeah, that's a classic franchise right there.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is definitely quite iconic, but the character Leatherface, I don't know if he is as iconic. So I would probably put him at about A or B, to be honest with you.
I do agree with you. He's definitely not as iconic as the Alien from the Alien franchise, but I think A is the right spot to put him. I think B would be a little injustice to him, so I will agree with you on the A. I can go A.
Yeah.
Speaking of people that's not as iconic to their franchise, we got Candyman next. I don't know about you, but in my opinion, Candyman is very extremely iconic, but he's just not. He's not to the upper echelon of people like we'll get to later on. Well, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree?
Well, I agree that he's definitely not as iconic as his movie franchise, but I do definitely think that his kills, for one, and why he goes around killing are very interesting. So, where have you've just put him in A, and I would definitely agree that he belongs there, if anywhere.
I definitely do. And you bring up a very good point about his kills. He does have some of the coolest, unique kills. And a lot of these franchises, because a lot of these franchises, like some people come up that I really like the character, but their kills can be kind of boring sometimes. But he has a very powerful reason why he does what he does, and I like that you brought that up.
Yeah, I mean, as they do in the movies, if you say his name in the mirror, you're dead. That's how it goes.
Exactly. he's the Bloody Mary of the horror franchise.
Exactly.
Well, next up we got Chucky.
Good old Chucky, the iconic killer doll himself. To be honest, I'm happy with him going straight at the top, but I can see if you wanted to put him in A.
I completely agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah,
He's had, like, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think he's had some misses in there, but he's had some really good things to bring him right back to the top.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I mean, I just love the character itself. Like, his kills are obviously great, similar to Candyman, and then just that mouth he has and the F-bombs he throws and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious.
Oh, Charles Lee Ray.
I'm gonna make you talk.
So, yeah, I'm very happy with him at the top right there.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, and I might as well bring up the Chucky TV show. What are your thoughts on the Chucky TV show?
Season 1 was great. It was my favorite season so far. Season 2 was lacking a little bit. I'm not a big fan of how they keep on bringing new Chuckies and saying that there's multiple of them now. I definitely preferred where it was just one and we were following him the whole time. And that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to the new upcoming season 3, which is taking place in the White House of all places.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah, so we might see Chucky for the president.
Exactly, and they're bringing Devon Sawa back. That man has more lives in the Chucky franchise now than anybody else. He was already in the first season twice.
Yeah, he's had more deaths than anyone else for sure.
Oh yeah. But next up, we got this thing.
Yeah, no clue what that is.
Yeah, me neither. Apparently, his name is Trantor. He's from I don't know who he is, but apparently he's from the movie Ernest Scared Stupid. It's a comedy horror movie. Yeah, I've never heard of it either. So I think that's an easy one.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, just to clarify though, guys, it doesn't mean that we're saying that the character is bad. We just have no clue what.
We
what
we
they've
just
done.
don't know. We just don't know. You can't hate us on that. We just don't know. But next up, oh, Cujo.
Right, now this is a bit of a toughie for me, because as I told you before we started recording, I watched that movie just last night, and for the plot of the movie, I thought it was very well done, especially
Oh,
with
yeah.
especially considering that they don't have that many characters in it. Like it's just a mum and a son trying to survive this vicious dog that's got rabies and it's trying to eat them. Pretty straightforward. But overall, I would probably put it at about B. I think it was pretty
I
decent.
Yeah, as far as a iconic killer goes, he is just average. It's just a rabid dog. At the end of the day,
Yeah. Yeah, great movie, great characters. It was just it's obviously a bit simple. So,
yeah,
yeah.
I 100% agree. But that changes up. Next, we got old Freddy Krueger. I mean, I think straight
Now,
to the point. You think?
yeah, I was just about to say straight at
He's
the top, yeah.
Robert Englund brought this character to life better than I don't think anyone ever could. He was made for that role.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just love the character itself as well, especially the origin. The origin was quite
Oh,
interesting,
very, yeah. Now,
and how he eventually, like, came back and got his revenge. So,
who do we got here?
yeah, I'm just gonna straight away say I have no clue who they are.
Me neither. I have no idea. But allegedly, from my research, he's from a movie by John Carpenter called Ghosts of Mars. And his character name, and I kid you not, this is about to sound weird, Big Daddy Mars.
Once again, don't mean he's a bad character. We just have no clue.
Yeah, sorry about it. But we got the classic. I mean, we don't even need to say it, do we? That's Ghostface.
Well, it kind of depends, because
Oh.
which Ghostface is it?
That is
That's
true. It depends if you're going for the mask itself, like the character of Ghostface, or if you're going on, yeah, like you said, the actual people behind the mask, because that is a very good point. We've had some Ghostface that were terrible.
What more do you want from me?
Well, I wouldn't say maybe not terrible, but just not as good. And we had some phenomenal ones behind the mask.
But since this is a ranking of iconic villains, most of these villains will be from the very first movie, like Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger and Chucky. They were both from the first movie. So I'm just gonna assume here that this is either Billy or Stu. Both of them were great ghost faces, so I'm still
Yeah.
happy with it staying up
100%.
there.
Speaking of Billy and Stu, who was your favorite between the two? I know it's tough. But if you had to pick, who would you pick?
Well, you're gonna surprise to hear me say this, but it's not tough for me at all. It's easily
Oh.
Stu.
Me too, dude. I always feel like people should think it should be Billy, but Stu is so amazing. I love Stu.
And it's purely just because, I mean, I don't know whether you know this, but he actually did most of the killing in that movie. Billy only killed
yeah.
like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. That's and Billy was mean. He hit him with the phone, and he was a dick about it. He hit him with the phone, dick.
Fucking hit me with the phone, Dick!
I mean that.
Yeah, well, that was improvised. That was not
Yeah,
scripted.
because I saw that because Billy, Skeet Ulrich had the like the fake blood on his hand. It made it slip from his hand or something like that, and it hit him, and he
Yeah.
just kind of ran with it. And hey, sometimes those unscripted moments, they make for phenomenal moments right there. Do you know who this guy is?
I'm afraid I don't know, but if you do, I'm happy with you running with it.
All right, so we got the Hammer. He's from the movie 13 Ghosts. For anyone that has seen that, let me know down in the comments. And let me know your thoughts on 13 Ghosts. A lot of people think it's terrible, but I think it's a cheesy good time. I recommend 13 Ghosts. But I will have to go C tier. He's okay. He's probably one of the scariest ghosts in that movie because obviously it's 13 Ghosts. So there's a bunch of different ghosts in the movie. And I want to say it's been like a year since I've seen the movie. I think he's the character that killed off my favorite character in the movie, which, if you didn't know, now you do. Matthew Lillard is in 13 Ghosts. It's another little movie he's in.
I mean, if he's in it, then I might check it out then,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
It's a cheesy horror movie, but it's a good horror movie. It's kind of like the old Saw movies with the quick, fast-paced editing back and forth, a little pew pew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. It's good. I'm glad you said that because I thought you meant like cheesy, as in like scary movie type
Oh
cheesy.
yeah, no,
So,
yeah. It's trying to be scary, but it has a lot of that fast-paced editing that does bring it down to not as scary and a little like, oh, it's kind of
like early 2000s
yeah,
type stuff.
exactly. It really dates itself from that, but it's a fun, good watch with some really good practical effects on these ghosts. If you can't tell in that picture alone, let's hear your thoughts.
Right. Definitely been a while since I've seen this movie, but everyone knows who Hannibal Lecter is. He's obviously a serial killer slash cannibal. So pretty straightforward. I'd probably put him at about A because whilst the name is iconic, he didn't really do much in the movie, to be honest with you, and I actually found myself bored quite a lot from what I can remember. But what are your thoughts on the movie?
You couldn't have been more right. He's his
Right.
his face is known from that movie. Like if you hear about that movie, you think of his face. But like you said, he's not really in the movie all that much. He's just the guy that has already been captured and she comes up and talks to him and stuff like that. But his face is known. That leads me into someone else that will be a big topic, in my opinion. We got Jack Torrance from The Shining. Oh, here's Johnny.
Yeah, definitely an iconic line for
Yeah.
sure.
So I'm
Um,
leaning towards S or A, maybe even B if you could talk me into it.
I think we should meet in the middle and say A if you're up for that.
I'm up for that.
Um,
I'm up for
and
that.
my reasoning behind this is just because, like, once again, like, he doesn't really become the villain till the end of the movie,
That is
and
true.
that's not me. That's not me saying that the movie's bad. I'm just saying, like, he only really has a major part when he's running around chasing his family with an axe, which only lasts for about 15 minutes.
That is true,
So,
yeah. And as good
I
as
mean,
those 15 minutes are, it's only 15 minutes.
and he only had one kill,
Yeah.
which wasn't even that good.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I think A purely because of how iconic the movie itself is, and obviously how iconic the line is. Here's
Yeah,
Johnny.
here's Johnny. I agree fully. I agree fully. But we got old Jason Voorhees next. I I think it's pretty clear that he's S. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm totally happy with him being up there. He's definitely one of the most iconic ones for sure. And every movie we are definitely promised a good few of great kills. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know which version of Jason we're talking though. Like, I'm hoping it's like part 3 Jason where he actually gets the iconic hockey
Yeah,
mask.
I do agree. And
Um,
this version, the picture to me, it looks like. Don't quote me
Freddy
on
versus
it.
Jason.
Exactly, that's what it looks like to
Yeah.
me, and that's one of his worst outings in my opinion. Part 3 Jason, phenomenal. I even think the 2009 reboot was phenomenal. I don't know if that's just me, but I
Yeah,
love that movie.
I enjoyed that movie. I wouldn't say I love it, but I wouldn't say it's as bad as people say it is. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. To me, it was real scary in the sense of like he was setting up traps, he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like he was going wild in that movie. What about this fella? This little guy.
Jigsaw. Definitely an interesting villain for sure
For
because
sure.
he doesn't think of himself as like a killer or a bad guy. He thinks of himself as trying to change bad people, and his traps and what he makes them go through is incredible to watch. So I think this guy should go at A. You may think higher, but I think A is the perfect place for Jigsaw. Especially just because, unfortunately, he only did technically last 3 movies until they killed him off.
That's exactly the thing keeping him out of S tier in my opinion.
Yeah, like if we had more time with him and we had like, because he was the best thing about the Saw franchise. Like, to be honest
Oh
with
yeah.
you, and I may be like one of the only people who thinks this. I think after Scream 3, I kind of started to slowly lose interest because they just kept on saying he had a new apprentice every couple of movies, and I was like, okay, we're definitely losing ideas now, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
It was like
so
Jigsaw was the perfect and Spiral, but those two movies are the perfect like saying of that. It's like okay, who's the apprentice this time?
I mean, I do appreciate them doing like these prequel movies like Saw X, which has just come out, which I won't talk too much about just in case you or anyone watching hasn't seen. I think, honestly, I think after they did the second trilogy to Scream 6, with Hoffman as like the new main killer, I think they should have just rebooted it and brought John back as like the main killer
I
because
do
he's
agree.
just so good.
See,
And
and I
I
do
mean,
like Mark Hoffman a lot, but he's no John Kramer.
yeah, like he's a John Kramer wannabe type thing.
Exactly.
Um,
And he did the whole he kind of ruined Jigsaw's like premise. Like you said earlier, Jigsaw never saw himself as the the villain. He never believed that he was killing anybody. He thought he was giving
yeah.
them a chance to change their lives around or whatever. Whereas Mark Hoffman, at least when he started out, I mean, there was a few traps that he set up that were unbeatable. Same thing goes for Amanda Young at the very beginning, with Carrie. But Mark Hoffman had, I think his name was like Sean Baxter, the guy that killed his sister. But like he made him inescapable, and that's like the complete opposite of what Jigsaw like stands for.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you went up to John Kramer and you said, "Are you a serial killer?" He'd say, "No." Did I kill them? No, they got themselves killed. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
If you think Mark Hoffman is doing a good job as Jigsaw, just watch Saw 2 and then come back and talk to us.
I've never murdered anyone in my life. The decisions are up to them.
That brings up to a girl here, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm sorry now because I know I'm gonna mispronounce the name. Kayako Seiki. She's from The Grudge. I'm sorry for the mispronunciation because I'm sure I got it wrong. But
Yeah, I'm just gonna straight away say I have no clue, so I'm leaving this one up to you.
it's probably been years since I saw that movie because I ain't gonna lie. I need to rewatch it because the first time I saw it, I was real young and it did freak me out a bunch. So I do need to rewatch it. Let us know if we need to watch this movie and then come back to it because I know it's a very popular movie.
Leprechaun, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the character himself, I love. Like, I think he's pretty funny. The way he runs around and the way he kills people and
for
stuff,
sure,
I
for
found it
sure.
quite fun. But obviously, similar to Cujo, the plot is quite simple. It's just this killer leprechaun who goes after this family because they stole his pot of gold. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Um,
So we thinking B?
so I would say B. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say B.
Speaking of movies that scared me when I was little, we got the little girl from The Exorcist. I believe her name's Reagan. I just know that movie scared me so much I didn't care to remember names.
Great movie.
Great,
I think it was a great movie.
Phenomenal movie, but as killers go, we are ranking iconic killers here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember how many people died in that movie.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know.
But I remember, like you said, like it's one of those movies, well, of its time, it
Yeah.
made you jump. Only because it's dated, and as far as I know, I can't remember there being many kills, and if there were great kills, memorable kills, you would have thought I remembered them. So I'm gonna say B, but what do you think?
I do agree with B. I was gonna say either B or C, but I'm happy with B because she was terrifying, but she's not like a iconic killer. Like people know her face, but they don't know her kills. I mean, we don't even remember the kills. If in the future you guys think we should do a part 2 on this and reevaluate, we can. Oh, big boy
Yeah,
here.
just go straight to the top. Just go
Exactly,
straight to the
Mikey
top.
Mike. Oh, Mikey Mike. I mean, there's just not much to
well-
say about him. He's just phenomenal, dude.
I mean, in terms of the first original movie, and then I would also say Halloween 2, those two movies were great.
Yeah.
I'd say that just wins anything, really. I mean, Michael is considered the king of horror for a reason, guys. Like, come on. Like, yeah, he may not be the strongest, he may not be the most scary looking, but
Halloween
somehow
ends.
he's just he's well,
ミャネかどうしたミャネ
You're just a man who's about to stop breathing.
That's all I want to do when I hear that name. But I'm judging from the original here. I mean, 2018 was pretty good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but,
I enjoyed the 2018 one quite a bit.
I also enjoyed Kills. How did
Yeah.
you feel about Kills?
Oh, I thought Kills was way underhyped. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think it was better than Halloween 2018, but a lot of
Yeah, we can
people
agree on
kind of pushed down and crapped on Halloween Kills a lot more than I thought they would. I liked it. The only real gripe I had was the every 15 seconds it seemed like they were chanting "Evil dies tonight." Like that, it kind of got repetitive. It was cool the first like 5 times, but it just felt repetitive.
Yeah, that got a bit annoying. And then something
Yeah.
else I don't really like about the movie is how they pretty much ruined nearly every single kill in the trailers.
Oh
So,
yeah, that
um,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Blumhouse has been pretty
so,
bad about that here lately.
yeah, it makes me worried to watch trailers for their upcoming stuff, which I
Exactly.
really want to watch.
Me too.
So, so yeah, but overall, Michael has definitely earned his spot up there with the original movie overall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
John
mean, he is
Carpenter's.
the boogeyman.
Literally, yeah, he's the boogeyman. And no matter what people say, I believe he's supernatural. There's no way you
Oh,
get shot like
100%.
5 or 6 times at the end of
100%.
that
Just about
movie.
and yeah, and like even like in Halloween Kills, we were just talking about that one. I mean, that like little street brawl he had with the whole town, that was wild, by the
Yeah,
way.
I mean, can you believe that they did that stuff in
that
Halloween Kills, and then
that
not too
was
long before
wild.
Ed dropped, David Gordon Green was like, "Oh, he's not supernatural, guys."
Yeah, you sure about that guy?
What?
Are you just saying that?
Michael Myers he's not supernatural, he's just very resilient. Resilient.
And then Halloween Ends is extremely supernatural.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
I think they just lost it with that new trilogy. But overall, the original movie wins everything in my
For
opinion.
sure,
So yeah, he's at the top.
100%. Next up, we got Sam from Trick or Treat. I don't know if you guys
You
have
can
seen
win
that
on
movie. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have seen this movie too frequently, but it's a good movie. It's a fun watch. It's kind of like a movie where there's one giant scene, but it's like 5 different groups, and one group has this one thing happen, this group has another thing happen, and then by the end, all the groups' events tie into each other. It's probably the worst way I could have described it, but that's how I described it. But he's going, oh sorry about it, Sam. He's probably going to be not happy with me for doing that, but he's going C tier. Which he does cause, pretty much all the killing or whatever, but he doesn't like really get his hands dirty all that frequently. And to me, he was never all that scary. Iconic character, he looks iconic, and even the pumpkin lollipop was iconic. For those that know. But next up, we got old buddy here, Norman Bates from the movie Psycho. And
Once again, you're gonna have to lead on this one because I might have seen that movie because it does sound very familiar. But if I have seen it, it
yeah,
hasn't been since like I was very young.
it's an easy B tier for me. He's probably as scary as it gets in a human form, with no like supernatural elements in it. It's kind of dated, so it does hurt it a little bit. We got The Thing.
I don't know. I mean, people might be upset with me for this, but I'd probably put him at A. I know that some people would probably want The Thing at the top because just like of how iconic it is. Like people say that that's the best horror movie or best John Carpenter movie ever made.
Yeah.
But I would honestly say that Halloween is better. And The Thing to me, like, even though the plot was very interesting, like it was this alien that's like changing forms into people and obviously killing them in the process. And obviously you also have Kurt Russell as the protagonist.
That's a good recipe right there.
Yeah, it definitely made the movie overall quite good, but this ranking isn't movies, it's villains as characters. And as I said, even though it was interesting, I just don't remember it doing a whole lot apart from going, changing its form from person to person and killing them. So, yeah, but that's what I think about it. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree. For me, Halloween, other than where he gets shot a bunch of times, isn't supernatural really all that much. So it seems like something that, could that could actually kind of happen. Whereas The Thing is fully supernatural, paranormal, whatever you want to call it, where it's an alien. But one thing, I mean, it was Among Us before Among Us was Among Us, you know what I mean? Old Patrick Bateman.
I'd put him at A, right?
Yeah. I would give him A as well. I do agree with A.
I'd put him at A because, yes, even though the story was very interesting and some of the kills were great, especially when he dropped that chainsaw down the stairs, that was great.
Yeah.
But the thing that just kind of annoyed me about the movie was the twist at the end, and that was that none of it happened, and it was just him being crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I actually wish it did happen, and that might make me sound a bit sick or whatever, but I just think if it's gonna be a horror movie, be a horror movie and say that these murders actually happen. Like, he was crazy. Like, you saw that one scene where he was walking past that homeless guy, and just because he was in a bit of a bad mood, he stabbed him and killed his dog for no reason.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I do agree with you. The whole plot twist, I wasn't a fan of. Plot twists can be good, and they do have their place in horror, but not in that instance. Not when you have an amazing horror movie, and like oh, dude, this movie is really cool. Like this dude's doing all this crazy stuff, but all of a sudden it's like, ah, psych, none of that happened. Get jokes on you, dog. Like I
Yeah,
do agree. It took
it's
away some.
exactly like
Yeah,
Yeah, like it just took away the fact that, oh, well, basically I've just wasted my time watching a bunch of stuff that didn't happen.
exactly. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
exactly.
that's kind of how I felt about it. But
I
but
do agree.
but the actual movie itself is good, and for that I'd put it in the A section.
For sure, for sure. I do agree. Next up, we got Pennywise, but it should be known this is the Tim Curry version, the original from the miniseries back in the day. I don't. Have you seen the miniseries?
Right. I didn't see the miniseries, but I've seen the movie. Which I think is all you really do need to see because it's the first chapter, and I do know what happens in the second chapter because of obviously the reboot that came out and just remade it into a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like he goes around. He once again, it's another alien type thing
Yeah.
who's been living on Earth for thousands of years, and very similar to the Thing, he can change his form and essentially make himself look like scary things that kids would be scared of because he feeds on fear. So yeah, I mean, I'm quite torn on this one. I would either say A or B, but I'll let you choose.
For me, I'm gonna go B. And it's, people probably come for my throat because it's Tim Curry's version, but I do agree with you. He was phenomenal. It was great. B's still not a bad tier. I do want to say that it's not like he's an F. The original Thing I think was at least scarier of an alien type thing than Tim Curry, and because I know who's
Yeah.
coming next, that's why it also changes it up a bit for me. Because we got.
I mean, can I just add one more thing though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Um,
Dude.
I mean, it's actually a good thing that you've got the rebooted version up because I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, like, if I was gonna watch it, when I say that, I'd watch the reboot, not the original.
Exactly.
So
That's what made me bump it down from A to B. Just because me personally, I think the reboot is scarier and, no offense, Tim Curry's version, but more well done.
I think it's purely just because the original's just aged quite
Exactly.
a bit.
And it's a product of its time.
Yeah, so back then it would have probably been where the reboot version is right now on the A section, but just because it's dated and the reboot had way better kills, and I actually think the story was a bit better. Same with the characters.
Yeah.
I think that the reboot deserves the A section more.
Oh, for sure. And Bill Skarsgård being able to do the eye thing, that was freaky.
Yeah, that I mean, hey, not just the eye thing. I mean, the lips thing as well. Like, see the smile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So next up,
Creepy for sure.
we got the tall man from Phantasm.
I'm afraid you're gonna have to lead on this one because,
afraid
as
I'll
far
have
as
to-
I know, I. Oh, you don't know him either?
I've seen what he's in before, but I've never watched it. I just hadn't had the time, and I know it's from an older movie, and it could be phenomenal because I heard it's a classic, but I haven't watched it yet. I'm sorry. Well, Pinhead, the lead Cenobite.
I mean, straight away, I think I'd probably just say B.
I do agree.
I don't know whether you agree with that. Oh,
I
you do?
almost
Okay.
I almost want to put them in C just because how bad the movies are for the most part. There's maybe like one or two okay movies, and it sucks because he's a phenomenal character, but put in kind of bad movies in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he's extremely OP.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
his powers are insane, and I like how if someone completed like that demonic box, I can't remember the name of it. It was like a puzzle type thing.
yeah. That's the
He
cube.
the cube, yeah, and
Right.
he would come after them and essentially torture them so they could find out the hidden pleasures of torture or pain.
Yeah.
So it was definitely interesting, but like you said, the movies were just really bad to watch, and I doubt I'd ever like want to rewatch them.
We got Samara Morgan. Next up, I believe is her name from The Ring.
Yeah, that's her name. Honestly, I think I'm probably gonna have to say C. And that's only because like the character itself, like people have got to remember this. Like we're ranking the characters here, not the movie.
Yeah.
So the movie Ring is great. Love the plot. I thought it was really well done. But the character, she wasn't in the movie at all. Like she probably had about 5 minutes worth of screen time altogether.
Yeah.
And the kills that she did do were pretty I mean, I don't want to say boring, but like the same kill was every kill. Like she'd do some like demonic thing on them, and then they die of a heart attack. Pretty much, they'd literally just drop dead. So
Yeah.
seeing the same kill over and over got a bit repetitive, and that's why it's not really up there for me.
Yeah, I
So
completely agree. It's something with it has all the workings to be phenomenal. It's just the execution kind of let her down. Great movie, but it let her down as a character because of it.
exactly, couldn't agree more.
But next up, we got old Hook Boy from I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know about you,
You're
but
gonna
it's
have to lead on this one.
I'm gonna have to go so probably C tier. I was this close to button F. I won't lie. Don't get me wrong. I love the movies. The first and second one, they're very great movies, and they got Fred from Scooby Doo in them, so can't be mad about that. And I mean they got iconic scenes and stuff like that, but all the iconic scenes are never really of the killer. But the only thing really saving it from being an F tier for me is his motive behind it. It's he's trying to get revenge on the kids that ran over. I think it was his son. It's been a couple of years, but I think it was his son that got hit by a car.
That sounds very similar to I think it's part 6 of Friday the 13th when that copycat killer was going around as Jason.
Oh, Friday the 13th Part 5. Yeah, where it's Roy Burns. You're not wrong.
Roy Burns. Yeah, that's the one. Like
Yeah,
the motivation sounds extremely similar. Like
very similar.
their son died, and then they're going around killing people related to the murder because of it.
Oh, exactly.
So
Yeah. We got, I'm sure you don't know who this is because she's also in the same movie as our other boy in C tier. I want to say her name was the Princess. She's another one of the 13 ghosts from the movie 13 Ghosts. Now, obviously, because she's not wearing any clothes, she's S. Now, I'm playing. She's probably F tier. She doesn't do anything in the movie, and she probably has 2 scenes. It's really,
I mean,
I mean, she's one of the most lackluster killers in that movie, in my opinion. All right, but next up, we got, yeah, another character from 13 Ghosts. This is the Jackal. So this one is probably the scariest out of all the killers in that movie, and this one had some of the most screen time. So I'm gonna go C tier above the Hammer, even though we're not really like ranking, like putting them above whoever. I just wanted to say I like the Jackal more, but I don't like him enough to put him in B tier. So
fair enough. I mean, I don't know anything about the character, so I
yeah,
can't really comment.
yeah. The editing kind of ruins this character's scariness a little bit. But that's a story for another time because that's editing. That's not the character's fault. But anyways, next up, you want to take a crack at it?
Are they the Oompa Loompas from Willy the Wonka?
Yeah, they're actually from the Johnny Depp version.
Yeah, I've no clue who that
Me
is.
neither. I tried my best to research it. The most I could get was something called the Goblins. And even one of the things that I found in the research was someone using that exact image as their cover art for some like SoundCloud song. So
Wow.
yeah, so I don't know who that they are. If they're your favorite, I'm sorry about it. But next up, and the final one. This is the last one on the list. Last one on the chopping block. We got old Jacket guy. Well, Jacket Girl, if you've seen the movie. This is from Urban Legends. Have you seen the movie?
I think I have seen it once since we briefly talked about it earlier. I've remembered a couple of things about it, but I don't remember enough to probably rank the character. It's definitely something I haven't seen in like probably around 10 years.
Same with me. Same with me. It's been probably not as long since I've seen it. It's probably been like 3 or 4 years since I've seen it. But from what I remember, I was thinking maybe like B or C. The movie as a whole, I remember being good. I just don't remember too much about the character, so I know they shouldn't be up here because if they were that iconic, we would remember them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'd probably say C.
See, I think that's a good safe bet. Great
Yeah.
movie, but not iconic enough to remember the person. All right, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close it out?
I was actually thinking a little bit, like after we talked about it a bit earlier on,
Yeah.
I'm a bit I'm a bit stuck on the alien from Aliens. I don't know if it does deserve that top spot or if it should be in the A section. I just don't know. I'm a bit torn about it, to be honest. The movie was great. It's a great movie. I loved Sigourney Weaver as like the main protagonist. It was
Yeah,
great.
she was phenomenal.
But like some other villains in this ranking, it didn't have much screen time,
Mhm.
and I think the best scene in the entire movie was when it popped out of that guy's stomach. That was
Yeah.
probably like the best kill in the entire movie, and it gave you like that really like icky feel.
You bring up a very good point. You bring up a very good point. And two, we're not really using the sequels as much of anything, but if you think about it, the alien character, at least in the sequels and stuff, it's never the same alien because Sigourney Weaver, she's, taking out a bunch of them. So at that point,
Yeah.
it's just a race of them. It's just an alien race that is the characters or whatever. So that I do
Yeah.
agree. I do agree. When you brought that up, that made me think about it. And yeah, maybe A tier, even though some people probably disagree, but that's okay. Not everyone's going to agree.
But yeah, I do believe that the true kings of horror are at the top right there. Chucky, Freddy, Ghostface, who we're saying is Billy or Stu, just for the argument,
Yeah.
and then of course Jason and Michael.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and
I
the money makers basically.
exactly. Like if you do one movie with any of those guys at the top, you know that you're going to be swimming in money for sure. So, yeah, but I think I'm happy with this ranking. I mean, is there anything you'd like to change or comment on?
I mean, I think we hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, I can't see anything in here that's inherently needs to change.
As you said earlier, we could always do like a part two kind of thing, like when
Yeah,
we
we
come
could
back
always
and
come
make
back
new
and
changes.
revisit it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, or we could try and find some different characters to do, or we
Yeah.
could rank them on a specific movie in their franchise, because I know some of these villains have multiple movies that we could rank them off of.
Like you were just saying,
Um,
Ghostface. There's Billy Stu, there's Mrs. Loomis, there's Mickey Altieri. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, let us know if you guys want us to, if you want us to do that, let us know, comment on my video, comment it on TackMack's videos, let us know if you want to see it, because we're down.
Yeah, I tell you what, something that might be a good idea for a part two would probably be a copycat killer ranking.
That's very good. Yeah,
Like,
that's a really good idea.
Like you said, Roy Burns, Corey Cunningham,
Yeah.
some other Ghostface killers that are following in the footsteps of Billy and Stu,
Yeah,
So,
for sure, for sure. That's a very good idea. That's a good idea.
So,
We'll probably pop that out.
possibly what we do.
We'll pop that out. Y'all don't worry about that. But
So yeah, but I'm happy with that, man. To be honest, yeah,
all right, man.
it's good.
All right. Well, all right. Those are our rankings. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Let us know down in the comments below. Big shout out to my boy TackMack for coming on. Be sure to go down to the description for that top link. Go check him out. And if you haven't checked them out yet, hurry and go sub to them too. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Stay chill, and I'll see y'all next time.
Cause let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.